Friday night is here with us once again. Benjamin Nketia here, Sports Panorama. Show proudly brought to us by Winner Big. I'll be announcing the winners for this particular week's raffle draw. You out there listening to us from wherever you are can get to us via text, WhatsApp, and Telegram 0549 986 996. (0549 986 996) 0549 986 996. We are talking about the Euros, Euro 2024. There's a big game happening right now, and it's between Orange and Le Bleu, the Netherlands and the French national team. It's MTN FA Cup weekend. We'll be giving you some lowdown as far as the MTN FA Cup is concerned. My good friends are in the studio. Nathan Kwao is here. Yao Jamie Gabi Milito and Coach Christopher Nimley. Coach looks like he's been to Alaska or something, Charlie. Freshness now back.
Oh,
Charlie. Oh, Charlie.
Some boss here, no coaching for commodity cape. No, for the haircut be very brutal haircut. So that's what comes for. Commodity cape, coach. If I just check for me.
No, see, you see, in the spirit in which you are, you need to usher us into the spiritual.
Oh. Minnesota, yo, what's about? Okay, no bale woba. Yo bele na. What do mojala mi fu? No kono ko be. Ne ba nye gbilane. Lane ake bo nyala. Boka wa ya boka wa ba. And I no kwale ake si just say I hear a counter, lo I hear a counter. Yo, what's about? And P2B, I'm just saying I hear.
Counter.
Yowa, coach ka here counter, moko ka here counter. Na mo you anukwale. Be na your program na no anukwale mene e ba jekpo. Waka jomo wo. No gbele wo da atra Euros. Is coming home be a Nathan Kwake we be an anukwala ka is coming home lo. Oh, Gary Saltgate. Agbene Gary Northgate. Coach, yo, Belemo Southgate here, Belemo Northgate here, Belemo Southgate here, Belemo Northgate here. Ni coach England team, ni talent ni yo ni papa ni one na no ne twonle na wa. Melenke Spain biye, amji meninke ya. Au, Pedri ejelo, Nico Williams ejelo. Alebo to akpa, domo wo no ya here kemi jile. Ye yetu ba me. Amen.
Amen.
And let's get into the Euros. Let's start off with that England game because that obviously has been the biggest talking point. Gareth Southgate and England literally had the whole of the English support base in a meltdown yesterday. I mean, following just a draw, which was kind of crazy. England have 4 points. You'd think that they were basically on the brink of elimination as far as the tournament is concerned. Let me start off with you, Coach, on what you've picked up from the English and what they've been doing so far, experimenting. Trent Alexander-Arnold here, Phil Foden there. It's been, a whole lot of chaos with regards to the results from the English national team. But what have you made of it so far? Is Southgate being blamed? Are we overly blaming him for his tactics because he has 4 points? What's all the craziness about?
You see, if you listen to Kyle Walker, you listen to John Stones, even if you listen to the manager himself, they are all trying to stress the fact that it is tournament football. So once they find themselves on top of the group, they don't see the need for any wahala. But no more, the logarithm of this England team is beyond measure. The manager looks very confused. There's a lack of balance. There's no proper balance in this English team. I understand that the absence of a proper left-footed fullback is causing them huge problem. Hey, but they've gotten a certain Trippier who may not give them that ability to cross the ball with his left foot, but defensively he's doing fine. Now, Southgate's biggest problem is what he does in midfield. I did say, you remember when the team came out with Satya, I did say that, look, this is what I will do. Nobody will take Phil Foden from that number 10 row, keep him there. Rather, I believe Jude Bellingham has got the ability to play as a number 8 alongside Declan Rice. Bellingham's physique, his workaholic instinct and ability, and his tactical awareness allows him to adjust to the benefit of this team to create proper balance in midfield. That, in my view, would be very, very comfortable than to ask a player who at club level never started any game in midfield, but rather as a fullback, but as the game progresses, then he drifts in as an additional midfielder and start causing damage. This time around, that Trent Alexander-Arnold nonsense will have to stop. Because, why do I describe it as a nonsense? He's not used to receiving the ball with his back to goal. Or in other words, with his back facing the opponent. At every time, the moment he's pressed, he normally will give the ball away. In that first game, he did it, and Mitrovic should have punished them. Again, yesterday, when you watched them against the Danish team, look, if you are being dominated by a midfield of Christensen, Højbjerg, and people we don't know, the day we present you to Rodri and the boy from Ruiz, what's the name of the boy?
Fabian Ruiz.
Ruiz and Pedri and Nico Williams and Yamin Lamado, Yamin Lamado at all. But Sonny Baba, then it is clear that you are going to be experiencing very, 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 very big problem. Now you put that aside. Look, if he cannot demand of Hurricane to lead the press, then some other person will have to trigger, and the rest will have to do proper anticipation and block the channel. If you look at this English team, the manner in which they are being passed, the ball is being passed through them, it's so easy. And what makes it even more problematic is the fact that Declan Rice and Trent are so deep in their half. When the opponent picks up the ball, it just drive. The moment they bypass Hurricane, who we all know is not a very good presser of the ball, and then bypass Bellingham, then they're just coming straight to the England team. You don't do that against a quality opposition. You pay the price. Now, if you ask me, Southgate has got options on the bench to stop that Trent Alexander-Arnold experiment that he's doing.
Yeah, most definitely.
There's this boy from Crystal Palace. Is it
Adam Watson?
Watson, yeah.
And there's Manchester United Kobe Menu, the most complete player when in possession of the ball in this England team. He's so calm. You cannot rush him in possession, because by the time the ball gets to him, he would have already taken his decision. You understand? Those days, football has always been played based on 4 words. So your ability to receive, your ability to act, your ability to decide, and your ability to execute. During the days of Pele and Co, the player will initially receive the ball, then he will observe the situation, he decides before he acts. But in this modern game, if you want to play football properly as a good player, and most importantly in midfield, before you receive the ball, your observation and decision should have been made. So the moment you receive, then there's action. But if you look at what Alexander-Arnold is doing, he receives the ball first, then he begins to look at what to do, then he decides, then he does it.
Looks very uncertain in the
Very uncertain. So you've got natural midfielders in that role, players who can just step into the role and do the job with ease, because that is what they've experienced at club level week in, week out. So if you are Kobe Meno and you have Watson and you are Watson and you look at this manager experimenting with a right full back in your position, a position that you will walk into and dominate and do better, you should be looking at the manager and asking him, really?
Yep.
Damn, man. Does he understand what he's doing?
I've seen some pictures online. I don't know if that's Kobe Meno's official account, but it looked really cryptic. You know, it's a very.
I saw a picture of Kobe Meno and
then
Panorama sitting on the
Yes,
bench.
it was tweeted by. It was tweeted by an account that was named Kobe Meno.
Really?
And I don't know if it was official or not, but that seemed very cryptic.
Maybe Nathan Kwa will have to call Gary Southgate. No more demo or support or Southgate. No coach or Jena can cry. So for me, look, they will step out of the group in Getia. But if I don't fix this,
England will get knocked out.
they will get knocked out before the quarterfinals, or their best ever in this tournament will be the quarterfinal, because the Hurricane you and I know,
Yep.
I don't know, he's become terribly slow. Is it that but this time round too, he played in Germany. He didn't play 38 games. He played how many games in the league? 34 games. So he's 4 games shy of his normal 38 games. That, in my view, technically should keep him a bit fresh. You understand? A bit fresh. Bayern Munich didn't play all the way to the final of the Champions League. They didn't play in the knockout final in Germany. So they were more or less focused in the league. 34 league games and some semi-final champions, and that was it. He's been very slow. What I think Southgate will need to do is simple. Declan Rice yesterday was very bad. The Declan Rice I know is not the Declan Rice we saw yesterday. The number of times he gave the ball away, I'm sure he's so much concerned about trying to babysit Trent Alexander-Arnold.
There's some breaking news coming through. Let me just totally unrelated to the Euros, but transfer news. Michael Olise has agreed to join Bayern Munich.
That's it. That's good.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
Very interesting move. Please make progress.
You understand? Now, if you look at Mr. Southgate, address the obvious. You see, if you're a coach and there's an obvious problem, you begin to look at what you have there. Who can go in there? What are the specialists? You see, you don't go and experiment at major tournament. I think he's the only coach with a big country in that tournament who is stay experimenting on his team. And that is very bad.
He said something that had me really confused.
That they are struggling to replace who?
Calvin Phillips.
Look, if I'm the decision maker, I sack him.
I was saying the same
I
thing.
will sack him straight away.
If it's possible to sack a coach during the tournament,
So
you
how
should
about
do it.
Cote d'Ivoire did it?
Let me just land.
Let's land in that.
So 2 things. Either you go Declan Rice, Bellingham, and then Phil Foden in the hole, number 10. Or you go Declan Rice, Kobe Menu, or the boy from Crystal Palace, and then you want to keep Foden on the while you keep. But I think they are lacking a bit of genuine pace up front. So I think the boy from Newcastle,
Anthony Gordon. I'm not even sure why.
Something should change.
Palmer has not seen the pitch. Gordon has not seen the pitch.
Gallagher, Abadofu Bahat, Jomobemi, Achichime, Achuame, Gallagher, many of you. You know, see, if you want to control game, you don't bring in Gallagher. It is when you are leading and you need somebody to press and then make sure that you pin your opponent in. That is why you introduce Gallagher. Look at yesterday when Saka and Foden rather started dominating the game, creating order. Saka was cleaning the guy at the left back there. He was dribbling past him. Then he just changed Saka, changed Foden. Then England never made any meaningful attacking play apart from the Oli Watkins through pass that came from Bellingham. And their attacking play just went dead. They'll get booted out of the tournament, not because they don't have the players to take them beyond a quarterfinals or a semi-finals. It's because the coaching is very, very bad. And this would mean that I'm happy that Nathan Kwa and his team has decided to keep Eric Ten Hag, because
Nathan Kwa's team is the Three Lions as well.
yes, because I was told that they were looking at Southgate. I was absolutely shocked.
I hope they still hire him though.
No,
anyway,
that's not happening.
quick thoughts on the whole England issues that you are looking up upon. La Liga Player of the Year in your mix, Premier League Player of the Season in your mix, Bundesliga top scorer, and Southgate is still playing like he has no offensive weapons in his team.
Yeah. You know, you I always say that for the first time in a while, England fans or the sampling of England fan opinion I've gone through.
And then
Has-
just
yeah.
before you continue, apart from Luke Shaw and Chilwell, there's no England left-footed fullback.
They didn't take Tyreek Mitchell
They
from
should have
Palace.
taken him.
Because you see, England are really suffering down the left. There's no trust.
I
They
was
have
asking
no
myself.
drive down the left-hand side. So,
They beat.
like I was saying, lots of the England fans before the competition were very concerned as to what Southgate was going to do tactically in terms of the personnel he would choose. And after the first game, people were complaining bitterly that this Trent Alexander-Arnold experiment, it's not working. You could tell
Clearly.
that Trent was very uncomfortable playing in a position he's not used to. You see, the point is that when you do this inverted fullback business, you do it because you want to have a certain numerical advantage
In midfield.
right? So last season we saw the evolution of the box midfield. So you have one fullback coming in, and then you get 4 men. So 4 men to outnumber your opponents in the midfield. It's only a platform on which your attack builds. You don't keep those 4 men static.
No.
So I don't understand why Gareth Southgate all of a sudden wants to try this thing. Trent is looking uncomfortable. England are looking out of sorts. And the tweak to England's success is a very simple tweak Southgate has to make. And he's not making it. And I keep saying it, look, that I lost faith in Gareth Southgate after the 2020 finals. Because like I'm saying, he was the reason why England didn't win the Euro.
Yeah.
Not because they lost on penalties. That situation could have been prevented.
You score one goal, no. You go and
Because,
defend
Ben,
for over 100 so minutes.
Again, I'll make a reference to Roberto Mancini granting an interview
Yes.
after the competition. He said he told his bench that if Southgate goes to his bench early, we had finished. Who did he have on the bench? Bukayo Saka,
Saka, there was
Jack
Rashford.
Grealish,
There was
Rashford, Sancho. Do you know when he went to his bench late in extra time because he wanted them to come and take penalties? And it backfired horribly. And after the tournament, Mancini, in that same interview, he told the journalist he was shocked at what Southgate was doing because he kept looking at the bench and he kept asking himself, aren't you going to finish us off completely?
You see that Cellini, Bonucci, they
but
were
tell-
panting for bread.
Just kill them off. So England or the English FA, they are paying the price for for trying to be extra loyal to Southgate. He's done his bit. When he took over, the team was in a mess. Got them to a World Cup semi-final. Agreed. A Euro final. Great. Get rid of him. Because you can tell that all this team needs is a better coach who can execute very quickly
Take them to the next
in
level.
tournaments to move them on. Ben, think about it. Never in the history of England, even in the said golden generation, did they have such quality. Let's be fair. That England golden generation that we say,
Technically,
Owen. If let's talk about the world class players, there was Owen,
there was
there
Scholes.
was Lampard,
There was
there was
Scholes,
Scholes,
there was Gerrard.
and there was about 4 or 5,
Ferdinand.
maybe Ferdinand. Let's say
then John
6.
Terry.
Look at the squad, Ben. Look at the quality from back to front in this England
That's what I
team.
was telling you. La Liga MVP,
I listened
Premier League
to-
MVP,
I listened to Gary
Bundesliga top
Neville.
scorer.
I listened to Gary Neville and Paul Scholes, and they emphasized what you just said. Gary Neville said this team was far better, or it's far better than their so-called
have-
golden generation.
So why is Southgate-
technically,
yeah.
especially.
Why is Southgate handling this team as if they're a bunch of underdogs, as if they have one quality player and he's trying to create something out of nothing? There is quality in this England team. So I expect him, I hope he and his back room have watched the 2 games, and I hope they will make changes going forward against Slovenia should they get to the round of 16. Because you see, Ben, after this group stage,
Yep.
this is where the tacticians get separated from the ordinary coaches.
Exactly.
Because from this point onwards to the final, one mistake and you are out.
There's
You
never
have-
a second chance.
You have to execute 4 games brilliantly to make a final. And again, I don't even know what to say. I think Southgate is very disappointing. It's almost like, as somebody who supports England, you almost know where the journey will end.
Yeah.
You are just taking yourself on a ride to get there, and then you see how the exit will happen. Because it is very obvious from the way England are being coached, they will not go far in this competition.
Yep.
Look at Spain. But look at the football Spain played yesterday. Who would have thought that against a midfield of Nicolo Barella and Jorginho, Spain, they absolutely dominated the Italians from start to finish. That is a team that is being properly coached.
But do you know the beauty of the Spanish team now? Previously, when they take a lead, they will still want to get on the ball and dominate you. But they themselves have realized that there are times where you acknowledge you have something to protect.
Yeah.
So you keep your shape and protect. It can continue.
So I just hope Southgate makes the necessary changes. I don't know what he's afraid of. Kobe Menu is not a little child. He's played 20 plus games for Man United. He can play a Euro game.
32 appearances, actually.
He can play a Euro game. Oli Watkins has quality. I don't know why he's not even unleashing Anthony Gordon. There's Cole Palmer. There's quality on the England bench.
Joe Bowen,
and whilst he's at it, he needs to understand that Bellingham doesn't necessarily have to play as a 10. At all. Bellingham's lungs. He's got an engine to run up and down. So let him play deeper.
Real Madrid were using Bellingham like that because of circumstance.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, Southgate thinks that Bellingham is an interest. Let me give Gabi and Yao the final words on the England national team, and then we'll move it on to Spain and Italy. Just quick thoughts on England, what you think they should be doing better, and what you make of their chances, generally.
Well, it's pretty simple. I mean, the Alexander-Arnold experiment is not working. So move Jude Bellingham a bit deeper and have him play alongside Declan Rice. There's a reason, an interesting story behind Jude Bellingham's jersey number at Dortmund, 22. Because when he started out his career, he was a out-and-out defensive midfielder. And the traditional English football sense, your positional number, once you're a defensive midfielder, is way back is number 4.
4, yeah.
It's 4.
Pep's position.
Then you move on to 8. Then he transitioned to the 8, and that's 12. Then he transitioned to the 10. So once you add 12 plus 10, you have 22, and that was his jersey number. And that was the game plan for him. That this guy is so good that he starts out as a defensive midfielder. Then he transitions to the number 8 position. Then he moves on to the number 10 position, and he can play all 3. So if you have a player like Declan Rice, who can play as a 6 and can play as an 8, you need to complement him by having Jude Bellingham playing alongside him.
Simple.
Then you move Phil Foden into that hole behind Harry Kane. Then you have Bukayo Saka playing on the wing. Then you can introduce Anthony Gordon or Cole Palmer. It's pretty simple. If you don't want to have 2 left-footed players manning your wings, you have Bukayo Saka or Cole Palmer. Then you introduce Anthony Gordon into the mix. Problem solved. I honestly don't see why Gareth Southgate is fumbling over this, because for a coach who has guided his team to the European Championship final, for a coach who has guided his team to the World Cup semi-final, I don't see why he's fumbling over this very, very simple issue.
Obvious decision.
Very obvious decision. And I love Michael Olise's move because he understands that he's in the French team. The reason why he didn't end up in this competition and he ended up about to go play in the Paris Olympics is because of the team he plays for. And that's honestly why he moved to Bayern Munich. That's what I honestly believe.
True.
Look, if he
it plays a big part.
Look, yeah, it does. His production last season, if he had done the same with let's say a Bayern Munich, he would have made it into this team. So for me, with Gareth Southgate, I'm pretty sure by the 3rd game he will get things right, because if he doesn't get things right, then it means he's insanely stubborn, because at this point in time it's so clear.
Southgate no and stubborn. Yesterday when I heard the things he was saying at the presser, it's 2 things. It's either a head really die or he's just pure delusion.
Gary Neville supports him, and for me, I think
we saw Gary Neville's coaching record when he could.
I also think there's the reason why England maybe are dilly-dallying on this decision. You know, there's this sense of maybe some English pride, nationalistic card here you play, because the last time they handed the job to a foreigner, it was Fabio Capello. They didn't really like it. Yeah. So they trust, okay, let's just support guys. But the point is this: even though they want to trust guys, I think Gareth Southgate has to earn the trust of the English Federation or the English Football Association. Yes, he's done his bit by changing the culture, which is good and everything. But there are football games to be won and there are competitions to be won. These decisions will not lead England anywhere in terms of winning something. Gabi.
Yeah, make a point.
Look, Ben, I always say this. I dislike coaches who see the solution or know, but they won't do it. And Southgate is a typical example. Look, there is one thing to have a right back in Verton or a full back in Verton, and having a full back play in a very unfamiliar position, and it's not working, and you're still sticking with it, and it will cost you your work. And clearly, that's what he's doing. I mean, we saw what Trent did at Liverpool.
Yeah.
He's playing as a full back, but in moments when he can invert, he does it and does it so well.
Yes.
You don't put him in a position where a ball is given to him and then he has what? The whole time to think as to what. That's not how it works.
He's not press resistant.
You get it? So I think I was just telling them that,
He's
look,
not press resistant.
Especially when you are pressing him from the back.
in as
Then he
much
begins to fumble.
as the English FA would move away from him and put the job. I mean, Nathan has mentioned that the last time they gave the job to an expatriate, that's Fabio Capello, it didn't work out well.
He didn't spend
I
Gordon
think
Erickson.
for me, I think that they need to move away from him. Regardless of the result, if they progress, they get to round of 16, it's a failure. They need to move away from him. Southgate has made this England squad look very substandard, and that shouldn't be the case. Players who, I mean, the players he's called up to play at the Euros are players who have played competitive football at their leagues, gone on to win things, racked in good numbers, and you put up a very good 11, and that 11 look at that game against Denmark. Harry Kane was nowhere on the pitch, non-existent, because he wasn't getting the supplies.
It was the same in the first game.
Yes, he wanted, and that's clearly down to. It's just coaching. It's purely coaching. England's issues are just coaching. I don't think it's the players, because you put this squad, or you give this squad to Carlo Ancelotti, you give this squad to Pep.
Any serious coach,
he will do big things with this England team. So I think my quick was that the way forward for this English team is to just
sack
let
the manager.
Southgate go, and they'll be fine.
And Ben, we've seen the Austrians play, right?
Ralf Rangnick.
Have you seen the handiwork of Ralf Rangnick?
I kept saying it. Nobody can tell me the one who originated, the one who the likes of Jurgen Klopp, Nagelsmann, Tuchel, all refer to as their boss in the coaching. How?
Let me take a few messages. We'll talk about the Spanish national team and the Azzurri in a bit. They played a really good game as well. Game produced just one goal, but it was absolutely feisty.
Nico Williams. Shout out to Nico Williams.
Charlie. Nico has people saying all kinds of things about Inaki. It's not fair. Let me read the messages coming through so far. This one here it's from Nana from Kwashima. Says, good evening to the best sports crew in Ghana. Let it not be forgotten that the media who have Southgate as their national team coach, along with certain players at Man United, tried to make Rangnick look dumb and incompetent. No one said Rangnick is or was a world beater, but there was a reason why coaches like Tuchel and Nagelsmann looked up to him. Glad to see him getting some respect. Literally what coach was saying a while ago. More messages. This one here is from Ken Selassie from Adenta Pantine. Says that England is the most overrated and overhyped team in football history. PR hype team. A lot of average players. Southgate is a joke. This one says he's the reason the English team keeps performing poorly. It says that he's tactically poor and has no positive impact on the team. Football is leaving home. Kofi Supremo from Seshi. Yao Matra, I think that's what it says. More messages coming through. 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. Let's start off, or let's get to the Spanish national team. They are on 6 points, so I believe that they have qualified for the next round of the competition.
Joining Germany.
Yeah, Charlie. Quick.
Remember, I tipped them to win the tournament.
Let me start with you on that one too, Coach. So we've seen different iterations of the Spanish national team. This De La Fuente team is, like you rightly said, they are not overly focused on trying to dominate possession. What do you like about this system, and why do you think that makes them such a big favorite for this tournament?
You see, anytime you see a Spanish team play at any level, even their women, you don't need a second invitation to be told that this is from Spain. This team has got that trait. What trait am I talking about? The ability to possess the ball, the ability to pass the ball, the ability to move off the ball and create space for whoever is in possession of the ball. So that is beautiful. But I compare this team to the last manager, the Luis Enrique team that we saw at the World Cup. They were so glued to passing the ball from one side to the middle, to the other side, to the middle, next side, but they never passed the ball forward. Under this current manager, a manager who has coached practically at every level when it comes to the national team. You remember he took them to the Olympics. Yep. The last Olympics, he was their head coach.
They finished second.
They finished second to Brazil. You realize that what he's asked these guys to do is to at least, after possessing the ball 1, 2, 3, the fourth pass should be a forward pass. A pass that allows the likes of Nico Williams and Yami Lamar to take on the fullbacks. What I actually like about these two players is that their decision making absolutely spot on. Their ability on the ball is proper football sense. If you look at Nico Williams, for example, it is not every ball or every 1v1 situation that he goes under to think that he can take on the fullback. There are times he acknowledges the support, either through the middle or my very good friend Kukorea, Numo Padie and Chabo, Lakabo.
Charlie, you know, I was very worried that Charlie, the Euros.
Yes, will expose him. But surprisingly,
he was
he's physical. He's
Systems.
Look, the system is getting him
System
to work.
Oh,
and the player with which he's operating on that side, absolutely brilliant. Don't complicate it. I give it to you when there's a 1v1. You take when you cannot give it back. I give it to the masters. Look at Rodri. Look at Rodri.
Charlie.
No more. Look at Rodri. Look at his position.
Rodri is the only Manchester City player actually making sense at this tournament.
Exactly. And look at, you see, they've given Rodri a left-footed midfielder who is also very careful with the ball, but also is not afraid to take the risk. This Spanish team, in my view, Nketia, if they get to the semi-finals, they'll win the tournament. Already, I have predicted that they are my number one team to go on and win the tournament. You remember last week when we did the prediction, I said I tipped them to go and win it. My only worry is they don't have a natural out-and-out striker.
Morata.
No, let will go. Let will go.
At least they come to.
That's why they win the tournament. With a striker like that.
I'm comparing
But I think
to the likes of Fernando Torres.
David Villa to do that comparison. I think Morata won't be close.
No, but that is the standard of the Spanish national team. The Villa, the Torres. These are the standard.
Yeah.
So if they had somebody like that, or any of these guys, one of them, they win the tournament. And look at the way the man is using the Barcelona ball. He's playing in that number 10 role, the Pedri ball. Very simple. And then when he picks up the ball, he turns and then he attacks the space. That is how you play number 10. Yeah, Bernard Moche inside the center circle, around the center circle.
Are you talking to somebody?
Who are you talking about? I don't like
Is there somebody you are talking
Who are you
about?
talking about? No matter hold on, relax.
Name and shame.
I want to understand. You said what? If he's been turning
Inside the center circle, around the center
Like
circle.
Alikoto. Oh,
Enforcing Jordan to be played out of position.
What is the meaning of that?
Look at Pedri. He's moving forward. He's feeding the wingers. He's feeding the ball to Alvaro. And look, what I'm saying is, the Italians, Charlie, they have a solid team. The Italians, yesterday, look, I respected it. Yes, Spain did great, but look at the goal that decided the game. A very odd goal. The two teams were, I think so far, that is the best competitive game I have watched in the tournament. They were up to it. And like I said, this Spanish team is doing something that I didn't see a Spanish team do. Maybe when they had the Xavi, the Nesta, the Fabregas, they could press the ball better. and win the ball off you without dropping deep into their half. But with these guys, it seems they are still not accustomed to pressing the ball in a way that will ensure that they can win the ball high up the pitch. So the moment they lose the ball, you see everybody, and look, Rodri is constantly talking.
Leaders.
That was one thing I saw yesterday. He's constantly talking. There was one moment where I saw him completely out of position. The moment he realized that you could see him calling the one behind him that go and stay there for me, I'm coming. And then the guy came, dealt with the problem, and then he came back. And then look, that is absolute beauty. And look at the substitution that the manager is making. Where he makes, that boy is a 16-year-old boy. He's in school. So you don't
He's doing his homework.
You understand? You don't want to overly embedding him. So I understand the situation. Look, let's give him 60 because his veins, his bones, the marrow in the bone are still not fully developed. So you don't want to put too much pressure. That is what the one who came to Brighton, what's the name of that Barcelona? Ansu Fati. That's what they went through, and they've all become injury prone of late, and it's become extremely difficult to get the best. And Ansu Fati, if things had gone on,
he would be here.
Clearly, he would be in this first 11.
Same with Gavi too.
Same with Gavi. No, for him, he had a very serious injury, ACL injury. You understand? So look, I love what I've seen of Spain so far. I love what I've seen of the Italians. I expect them. But Charlie, I can't wait to watch that Italy-Croatia game.
Croatia on the brink of elimination.
Yes, they have 1 point. They'll need to get a result. And the Italians too cannot afford to lose because they won their first game, lost the second. If they're to lose,
problem.
That puts them in a precarious position.
I just, Chris, you mentioned the substitutions. Something struck me. Ben, your very good friend Ayoze Perez.
Yes.
Oh Lord,
he's become so vital.
Yeah.
Talk about that for me, just real quick.
And I thought when he came in, he changed the dynamic. And instead of just being there, not necessarily to occupy space, but be an outlet, I thought he was a brilliant outlet. He was able to get the ball, keep it to feet,
scored. But Donnarumma.
Yes, I mean, if it were not for Donnarumma, Spain would have scored a lot. So I'm happy. I was very impressed. Watch Spain execute the way they executed. I just believe De La Fuente will have to get them to be sharper in front of goal, because in a game like this, Ben, imagine in a quarter-final where you dominate a team, you have this chance, you don't kill them off, and the last minute they go and find an equalizer or something that changes the game. Spain will kick themselves in
like the header Nico had in that first half. Just simple header, bang into the back of the cross from Morata. If he was the one crossing that ball, Morata is scoring that all day.
Let's talk about tournament favorites. I think Chris has named La Roja his favorites to win. Let me take your favorites to win. We've seen everybody play at least one round.
I said Germany. I still go with Germany, but I moved Spain from bottom of my list to second. Because, like I said, you
had three favorites?
Yeah, I mean, I had Germany.
Germany, they've played against what?
They played Hungary and Scotland.
They played Hungary and Scotland, so we'll have to see. So Spain further down. I had France as my second. We are watching them against the Dutch. I don't know how they will fare.
I think they are my dark horse.
And the reason why I will put an asterisk by France is not because they are a bad. I'm still trying to see. I'm trying to see what Deschamps will do. Like what kind of variety he will try and employ. Because look, they are starting this game without Mbappe,
and so they look very ordinary.
That's the first test, because this team essentially has been constructed to highlight Mbappe's strength and make him look good, and everybody is willing to sacrifice for that cause. It's great, but I want to see what others bring in. Dembele, Marcus Thuram.
I feel like they have too much quality to be whining about Mbappe's absence.
I get that too. And you see, it's down to Deschamps and how he's handled this team, because one, he hasn't won the Euros yet. He lost it in 2016, and it's the one thing he wants to win to ensure that his time in France is an absolute success. So I guess thinking like that forces him to try and build a team such that Mbappe is at the end of everything. He gets to determine how they score, that kind of thing. So I hope to see a lot more from him in terms of what this team can offer, how he can get the best out of players like Thuram and Dembele, and then see what others like Giroud and Griezmann can bring. But France do have quality, and I get the feeling as they go along, that quality will show. The only thing, like I said, I think Deschamps needs to get the hand off the brake a bit. He needs to allow them to play with a bit more freedom.
He's another Southgate. To an extent.
And not necessarily.
He's another Southgate.
You see, the only I think the only reason why Deschamps will escape all
He has a World Cup to his name.
exactly.
He's gone to two World Cups,
good.
two World Cup finals.
Exactly. So you can't put them in the same way. Even though I've seen, I see where you're coming from. Like I see the similarities in a lot of ways. Only that
In France,
he's like a rich man Southgate.
In France, the narrative, really, when you read the French press, the narrative against Didier Deschamps is that he restricts this team a bit too much. They feel he holds them too close. He wants absolute control. So they score one goal, they won't go and try and find two. Because he doesn't want any problems. But a lot of the French fans feel that if he can just liberate them a bit.
You see, that's
They're a bit expansive.
It's just the thing with teams with a lot of attacking talent. It doesn't make football is about scoring goals. It doesn't make any sense when you have Colomboani, Mbappe, Griezmann, and then you are playing like you are. Come on, man!
I think it's the
you are
fear.
playing like you have like six countries in your team.
The point is the fear of maybe getting played through. And I'll give you an example. The Netherlands back in 2008. Who remembers that team? The Marco van Basten team. They were super good in attack. The day they met a solid team in defense in Russia, they got outdone. Russia beat them, and that was the end. So sometimes I feel teams fear that. What if on the day we can't do anything? So it's better we have control. When we score one, that's okay. If we can hit you on the break and score more, that's fine. But I don't think teams will be overly attack-minded and forget to have some backbone defensively.
Let me take your favorites for the tournament so far. I'll take standout players so far. I know who my standout player is.
Standout player Jamal Musiala.
He cooking.
Favorites.
Somebody for buy the Germany jersey from Dash me.
Which one?
The white one.
The purple jersey.
The purple jersey.
Oh
is
my!
killer.
Oh
I like the
my.
white one.
I like all things Germany.
The tracksuit
Sally
on point.
The warm up tracksuit.
Yeah.
The
Oh my
France jersey
God.
tonight too is not
The
bad.
France jersey is on
But
point. Nana.
France they've had killer kits since
See,
2018.
in fact, the jersey.
2014.
In fact, the three jerseys this tournament. I think two of them are in this game. The Netherlands and the French team. And then we could talk about the one we're just talking about, the German national
And so
team.
for me, favorites, Spain. Spain, France, Germany, because
Why Spain? Why Spain?
Why Spain?
That's your number one. So you need
why
to
Spain?
defend.
Because they've done something that they've always had but didn't really tap into, and that's the use of wingers who are dribblers and are very pacey. Throughout their glory days and down years, they've had pacey wingers, but they've not had pacey wingers who can beat you on the dribble. So back in the day, they used to have Jesus Navas. They used to have Pedro Rodriguez. They are very pacey and very direct. Luis Enrique even took Adama Traore to the last European Championship. They are very direct and very pacey, but they can't beat you necessarily with their skill and with their dribble. But with these guys, look at Nico Williams. He can beat you dead on with his dribbling
Williams
ability.
is like a Ferrari. He's gone.
Lamine Yamal can do same. And on top of that, these guys have been given a lot of confidence. So all the names that I mentioned earlier, Jesus Navas, Pedro Rodriguez, Adama Traore, for the most part, they will start off the bench. But look at how these guys have been introduced as starters. I mean, this guy is 16 years old. Lamine Yamal is 16 years old. How many coaches will have that kind of confidence to put in a 16-year-old player?
That's a big deal.
In the European Championship. And look at Nico Williams too. So for
Ghana
me,
would have been giving you all kinds of excuses.
exactly. So for me, I think that's the difference
He's
between.
a true 16-year-old.
So for me, that's the difference between.
But who's not a true 16 year?
No, I'm
So for me, that's the difference between this. That's the difference between this Spanish team and the Spanish teams that have come in recent years. And that for me, aside the ability to retain possession, press, and retrieve possession of the opposing team, yes, they all have it. But that's the extra bits that they add to this mix that makes me very confident that they can really go deep in this competition.
If I may just add, I don't see this Spanish team being dominated in terms of ball possession by any team in the tournament.
But you yourself have always said that sometimes football is not control is not always about having the ball.
But that's why I spoke about the blend they have now.
So a good mix of direct play
and
it's
dribbling
and dribbling ability
and dribbling.
which is something a lot of teams lack in this tournament so far.
So that's what makes me believe that they are the favorites for the title. France, obviously, looking at what they are doing, and I'll go with Germany. I think they've been able to get this mojo off their back in their last 3 competitions in international competitions. Opening game, they always lose. Look at the FIFA World Cup in 2022, European Championship. But now they already have two wins. Yeah, 2 wins in the bag.
I don't think they've been tested yet.
Yes, they haven't been tested yet.
You do have a point.
Yeah, they haven't been tested yet, but that's what they needed.
Because in front of you, gain confidence.
Confidence. That's what they needed. Because back in the day, they will meet tough opposing teams early on, and their confidence was shaking.
To be honest, to just add to that point, I think Germany in the last at least 6 years or 5 years have
been down.
They've not even looked like themselves. Like when you see them at the tournament, you can hardly tell that this is Germany. That they're all over the place.
Yeah. Russia first round, Qatar first round.
Yeah.
England, I think they got booted out by the English. I think in the quarterfinals.
Yeah. And so for me, it hasn't been a good but now looking at the kind of confidence that they've gained bagging 2 wins. Yeah, I think they are a favorite. And the fourth, I've mentioned Germany,
you said
France, Spain. Yeah, and the Netherlands are my dark horse.
Gabi.
I would want to start with Spain.
Hey, so you all say Spain will win the championship?
But for
what?
me, one thing.
1, 2, 3. The Netherlands say Spain? France.
No, I said Germany.
Germany.
So
okay.
Then
cool.
I think
France
one thing that
second,
cuts for me in that Spanish team, especially with De La Fuente, is familiarity.
Yeah.
The U19, U21, he went on to win the Nations League, and he's gone on to blend the youth and then the experienced players. So I look at Morata, I look at Cucurella,
Caballá.
Exactly. He's been able to get the best out of this team. And you see, I feel like they're actually playing under less pressure. Yeah, you would say they are not favorite, but in as much, I think clearly they are favorites to win it, because I think he's been with the team, he knows the squad really well, and he's been able to put up a very good system that he'll get the best out of the squad he's got. And I'm not too surprised with the way they started in the 2 games. Apart from that game against Italy, when they had to go down to like fine margins, and then they had to get a goal. You look at that blend up front, that fluidity from Morata, Lamine Yamal, and also Nico Williams. It's brilliant.
With Pedri just behind.
I like it, and I've always said that. Look, if you're a coach and you're able to, I'm not a disciple of coaches who like to stick with like a very static front 3. And if you watch that Italy game, you could say, like I said, when Morata put in the cross, it could have been the other way around. And clearly, that's 3 players who understand what they have to do. So
movement of
I just want to see how they'll carry. I mean, it's just the group stages. Sometimes you'd want to deal with, like Yara said, you want to deal with what you have up front. When you are progressing, the opponent you face, you put up a very good system and face them. So I'm just looking forward to see what they'll do. The second I want to talk about is France. I've not seen too much of them. I think they have everything, like you said, to deal with the Mbappe absence. But clearly, Deschamps seems like a man who sometimes lacks ideas. But I'll still want to.
When I hear that, yes, he's my guy since from like the Monaco Porto finals.
I'll still want to add him to my list, because I still think that France have got everything, the tools to win the tournament. And I mean, it's a tournament. You don't need to be playing expansive every time. You don't need to be playing very good football. At the end of the day, it's just winning and getting to the next stage. It's not like a league format where you have a lot of matches and then you look forward and say that, okay, I have to deal with this and that. Just win what you have and then you'll be good to go. So it's Spain and France for me, Ben.
Let me just share my. Let me read a few messages coming through, and then
what is the situation with Olise?
Olise is going to Bayern Munich.
Guy.
Chelsea walked away from the negotiation. Olise says he's going to buy.
Later, the guy make he pin him.
The thing is that Chelsea fans had been gassed up about Olise for like a minute.
Prior to the start of the season,
exactly. They had been gassed up about the man for a minute. So to see him slip through their fingers and end up buying.
And just a quick one. I'm very confident about Germany's chances because in previous years that they haven't done so well.
Yeah.
Their star boys haven't really excelled, and those were the ones who carried the team. You look at the likes of guys who were supposed to be the next big things: Julian Brandt, Julian Draxler, and yeah, they didn't show up, and it really hurt Germany's chances because most of the time every team builds around one guy or a couple of guys, and when those two guys don't show up, it's quite difficult to be able to maneuver your way through this type of competitions, and they haven't been fortunate enough in that regard. But this time around, you look at the way Jamal Musiala has started out. You look at the way your guy Florian Wirtz is playing.
Florian Starboy.
It's clear that they have something good.
The guy playing two number 10s on the wing.
Go really far.
Julian Nagelsmann with his hipster tactics. He's playing Florian Wirtz on the left wing and Musiala on the right wing, and they are coming in going Charlie. They are doing things.
That's our system.
I think. And I'm going to say here, I know people are going to draw daggers on me, but I think Portugal will win this tournament.
The point is, it can happen.
Let me explain why. I feel like of all the teams that play in this tournament, they are the one team that I believe have more balance than most. The other teams will compete with them for balance, maybe Germany, maybe France to an extent. But you see, a lot of those teams, coaches have shown that they don't know what it takes to pick a proper starting 11.
But you know what may hinder Portugal?
What's that?
Their manager.
There's that as well. I mean, I saw that first game where he started with that experiment by playing Ronaldo and Rafael as two target men. I'm not even sure what's going on with that. But coach, talk to me about. I feel like Portugal can win it, but talk to me about Bernardo Silva. I'm scratching my head right now. Look, he's a brilliant player. I just don't see it when he plays for Portugal. He looks completely lost. Like he looks like a completely different player. What's going on with him?
You see, he's one player, I believe, irrespective of the system. Because
he's too intelligent. He's too intelligent.
And the brain he's got, the footballing brain he's got, I think he should be able to flourish.
He's not a system
everywhere
player.
He finds himself. But if you look at this Portuguese team, what shocks me about him, the team looks very similar to the Man City team. There are a lot of creators, a lot of other players capable of doing so many good things. There's Leao, there's Bruno Fernandes, there's himself, there's Ronaldo, there's that PSG boy in the midfield, Vitinha. There's even
Gonzalo Ramos in there.
The Man City
Diogo
boy.
Jota. They have weapons.
They have proper weapons.
Yeah.
We are not enjoying him because he's the one being thrown on the left. The next moment he's on the right. The next moment he's on the left, trying to get things to happen from the flanks. Whilst players like Bruno Fernandes are being kept in the middle to make sure they see the proper width and size of the pitch and then pick the passes through to the forward guys. He cannot be overly expansive or overly extraordinary. But what he can do is that he should be playing for the team. And I think that is what he's doing. We are used to seeing him do so many good things that when he's not, you may think he's not better.
Let me just a quick observation I made from the game I watched of him. So I saw at least 3 instances where Portugal were in transition. Bernardo Silva needs to play a 40-yard pass. He touches the ball twice, turns around, the channel closes. Did it like twice. And I was surprised because he can pick a pass.
Yes.
We know him to be able to pick a pass.
Now, picking the pass to Ronaldo, if you watch them,
the speed is not there anymore.
The speed is not there anymore. So they are all very careful not to lose possession of the ball. Like you said, those 2 instances, I saw it, but not with him alone. Bruno had, you see, there was one that Bruno had the whole field. He pushed, he attacked the space, that he was waiting for the movement. But Ronaldo's movement took him far wide. So he couldn't pick the pass until Bruno himself got what? Dispossessed. Then the boy from PSG, that Vitinha ball, I think he's the reason why he was voted the best player of the game. Something I completely disagree with. He holds onto the ball too long. This Portuguese team, with Leao and Bernardo and Bruno, you are playing in front of the back four or back three, whatever they call them. When you get the ball, you should look 2 touches, 2, not more than 2, like Rodri does. Rodri in the modern game is the specialist in that position. You understand? He's the Busquets-like specialist in that position. Rodri touches the ball twice, 1, 2. When there's nobody there, but at most 3 times. So if Portugal, in my view, if they really do want to go forward and win this tournament, Vitinha should be able to release the ball quicker to Bruno Fernandes and co.
For me,
quicker. And then the experiment, I got confused with the coach himself. What is the name again?
Roberto Martinez.
Former Wigan head coach.
There was Dallo, there was
Former
Pepe, there was the boy from Man City who is now at Barcelona.
Ruben Diaz.
No, the one there was Diaz, then there was what? Cancelo, then there was Nuno Mendes. You could clearly see that they were confused. They were very confused, not knowing what to do. Because the players, the likes of Rafael Leão, who were expecting the ball to be released a bit earlier, will go. And then one thing that I noticed with the Portuguese team, look, Ronaldo and co are not moving properly when the ball goes wide. Go back to that first half. There were so many occasions where Rafael Leão had the beating of the fullback, which he did. But Ronaldo will position himself behind the entire defensive network, more or less forcing Rafael Leão, who will be crossing the ball, who cross the ball most often with his unfavorable foot, which is the left foot, to find the pass that should beat all the defenders before getting to Ronaldo. I think that is not the zero I know. Previously, the moment the ball goes out wide, he'll be moving and check. You saw when he came to Manchester United, remember there was that game against Atalanta. You remember that header from the Luke Shaw cross where he went, he checked, he went, he came back, then bang. But now watch him. His movement is so static. So you need to get the ball to where he is.
Conserving
and
energy.
I think that is taking a bit more from that game. But should he continue to start? Yes, of course. He's Cristiano Ronaldo.
Thank you.
He has to be on the pitch.
Even if he's in a wheelchair, he will start.
His presence alone means that he craves just half a chance to put the ball away. But as to whether they win the cup, I don't think. Because I still believe that defensively, they are very, very weak.
A quick one. Rafael Leão is very inconsistent with his performances. And I have a very simple remedy. I think for Roberto Martinez, I don't know if Rafael Leão is dating or is married.
Charlie, why you take this matter pass like this? Okay, no, build your point.
Rafael Leão, Martinez, in order to get Rafael Leão to perform consistently, just find the babe he's attracted to and tell Madame to come to the stadium. Or he walks out onto the pitch. Just tell Rafael, Charlie, Madame de Parco. That's all he needs.
Why are you saying that Leão needs to be motivated?
He needs to be motivated. To be honest, he needs to be motivated because he's one of those players who on the day can go like, Madame didn't give me some nice hug, so I'm not in the mood. So so he's not in that mood. Then he'll give you some terrible performance. No. But another moment he goes out.
It's like you are speaking from experience.
Another moment he rolls out of bed and it goes like, okay, I'm really feeling it. I'm really feeling it. I can prove to this guy.
Hey, you find any limbo?
Yeah, no, I told Abigail.
I was Milito's cooking.
Charlie, conspiracy theory.
No, Abigail did. So he's one of those players who can decide that. You know what?
You know, say he did sit my body for office. I did see everything.
Everything. See what? No.
We'll have
There's no Abigail.
We'll have a story. We'll have a proper story time. Don't worry.
He's one of those players who can roll out of bed and go like, you know what? I'm ready to show the entire world that I'm that guy, and he will absolutely show it.
At the World Cup was an example. He was not even getting proper minutes. They were bringing him on. Rafael Leão 5 minutes, bag, go. Leão 10 minutes, go, assist. Third game, Rafael Leão.
That's what they should do.
And that's what. And what? you see, that's my confusion with that guy. Like I'm saying, when you give him peripheral minutes, he will come and do well. When you trust him to start a game, you ask yourself what's this guy doing on the pitch? No, I agree. He needs a few bodies in his corner.
Yeah,
just to
that's Jordan Poole.
The Jordan Poole theory. You know, sometimes you just need a little shoulder massage. You know, just relax the muscles before you step onto the pitch.
Cameraman pan to one fine girl.
That'd be all. But you see, the Euros cameraman, no. Very disappointing. I don't know. You can take moral lessons from the AFCON camera guy. The AFCON camera guy was delivering MVP stuff on the pitch and off the pitch. Like we were seeing
to the point where he landed. What's the man's name?
Anselmo. By the time the AFCON was over, Cape Verde had collected their name. Name that existed but needed publicity. Nobody's collecting his name these Euros. Charlie, cameraman, I beg you, boo. Show proudly brought to us by Winner Big. And Winner Big say, hey Ghana, are you ready to win some money? Winner Big is here and it's bigger and comes with constant cash prizes. With just 5 Ghana cedis, you can get yourself a ticket and stand a chance to win 500 Ghana cedis daily. Now your ticket also enters you into our weekly draw for an amazing 1,000 Ghana. Imagine the possibilities that make it 1 ticket, 2 chances. Participating is easy. Just dial. Listen. *920*66# *920*66# and follow the prompts to purchase your desired ticket. You can download the Winner Big app on both iOS and Android Play Store to play and win. Visit our website on www.winnerbig.com to purchase your tickets. Our weekly draw happens every Friday 4 p.m. and watch out for the winner announcement on Sports Panorama. I'll be doing that in a bit, so make sure to get your tickets early. Prepare for the big day. Winner Big, cash the flow, sir. Winner Big, 1 ticket, 2 chances. Let's take a quick break here. When we come back, I'll announce the winners for this week and then we'll talk about some other stuff. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us here on Sports Panorama. We'll be right back.
Guess what? Now you can win cash every day. Cash just the flow, sir. Winner Big is your cash companion, your bestie, always ready to sprinkle a little extra joy into your life. Head to winnerbig.com, WINABIG.com, or dial *920*66#. Grab your ticket for just 5 Ghana cedis, and voila! You could just be winning you some cash. 1 ticket, 2 chances. Download the Winner Big app on both Android and iOS smartphones. Follow us on our social media pages for more. Winner Big, cash the flow. Winner Big is regulated by the National Lottery Authority on the Caritas Lottery platform.
The city is alive on 97.3.
Welcome back, Sports Panorama. Benjamin Iketia here. Show proudly brought to us by Winner Big, and I have the winners for this week. Amanfo secure some cool cash for the weekend. Yeah, boy. So my first winner with 500 Ghana cedis is Olivia A. Hey, Olivia Jiska. Abraham B has also won 500 cedis. Samuel N. James M. M for Mateta. M for Monaco. And also Eunice M. So these are your winners for the Winner Big draw this week. I'll announce them again just before the show wraps up. Let me read more messages that have been coming through. Emmanuel Dowona Okla says that our team Panorama, I think Spain will win the tournament. After Luis Enrique's exit, I can see the Spanish team coming into a better shape. They must win for us. Pedri and Lamine will make us proud. This guy's a Barca fan. Anyway, Zilot from Shy Hills says that I'm surprised you guys are now realizing the potential of how well drilled the Spanish team is. Luis Enrique started this project. They were playing too well. It's just a few results that got him sacked. Abu Mohammed in Japan says that I want Spain to win. Coach, boost my confidence. Charlie says Spain get fans like that. Hey, Charlie, biggest green from Butchie says, good evening, guys. I'm rating France to win this Euros competition. My number one best player of the tournament is Rodri. That guy is a fantastic player. Otis in London says that England fans will take every opportunity to drink beer, whether happy or sad. Charlie, you already know. Nene Puplampu from Dakoman says, Coach, Spain is possessing all the game, but their problem is not being clinical, and it will hurt them again. It will hurt them again in the knockout stage, just as it did in the World Cup. France all the way, you say?
I've also emphasized
highlighted that particular one. Yeah. St. Pablo from Chado says, good evening, crew. Do the England fans still think it's coming home, or make we tell them, say them they come home? Because this ball that disciple of Haram ball they played there, like Otoado said, better for England. Charlie, be true. There's the ball way this guy do there. Otto would have been doing better with this team. Alabi from Kentucky says that England is struggling because Southgate's coaching is like, hey, Iradi, it's okay. You this kind of tweets, this kind of message, you can't find trouble for me. Josh from Amman says Tariq Mitchell wasn't picked, but Luke Shaw, who has the hospital as his second home, was picked. England play like their JHS students. Ameshawa.
Look, Shaw, news coming in says he's not even training with the first team.
Southgate's selection, I think Southgate's selection is the most questionable bit about. Like man, I don't like the Three Lions that much, so I can't be bothered. But if it was possible to do what Cote d'Ivoire did, England should probably fire Southgate before the tournament ends. Because look, with this talent, somebody can hold this team and still go and win the cup. Anyway, Mace from Ashaiman says that the United fans are only talking about Kobe Mainoo on the bench, forgetting Palmer is also on the bench. Starboy from La Paz.
It's about the role. Yeah. Palmer can't go and play in that role.
Yeah, well, I just still think it's criminal that he hasn't logged any minutes at all. That's very crazy for me. Starboy from La Paz says, I personally think Southgate is very stubborn, because Calvin Phillips, who hasn't played even 10 games all season, you are telling us that you miss him what? He should be sacked. Senior Mampam says, good evening, guys. It's like Nico Williams get different DNA. You know, the guys, I think Nico Williams' release cost like 50 million.
I think it's 58 million euros.
Somebody should be triggering that by now. That is chicken change in this market.
You need to convince him. He wants to go to Barcelona. So if you are not Barcelona, then you need to do proper convincing.
I'm even sure he's like they'll find it hard to move him out of Bilbao. You know how those people are, the Basque people, extremely difficult to get out of the region.
Oh, but show him some good money, he'll move. And on top of that, Champions League football. He wants to play Champions League football.
I feel like there's that too. There's that Leo, but I feel like when it comes to like one-off star players, teams like Bilbao can break the bank for a guy like that. I don't know how much they can sustain it, because if you give Nico Williams 20 years, 21 years now, if you give him a 250,000 or 300,000 euro contract, which doesn't happen in Spain a lot. When he has to renew, what are you going to give him?
That is it.
That's the problem with it. We'll see how it goes. Francis from Camara says the England national team for me is like Atletico Madrid. They won't let you score them, and they will also not score. Substandard team, which shouldn't be so under Southgate. Okay. Charles from Tema says Phil Foden was playing on the left when Mahrez was at City. It's not new to him. I don't know why everyone wants him behind Kane now. The fact is that most Man City players don't play well outside Pep's system. Bernardo Silva is one of them. Kweku in DC says that the Spanish midfield is too good. Special mention Fabian Ruiz Peña. Man, so good. Eka from Dansoman says, fine evening, Citi Sports team. Please, what is the situation about? Charlie, the situation there, we've told you already.
So Olise is not going to Chelsea. He's agreed to go to Bayern Munich. So.
The guy is in
He's going to play for Vincent Company.
The guy is in denial. I say, what's the situation?
And play Champions League football.
but is it something that Fabrizio have?
Oh, the Athletic. It's not even Fabrizio. The Athletic, not even like a tweet. It's a full-blown article. Full-blown story. Or Kokra. So let's talk about some breaking news that's coming in, guys. AFCON 2025 has been postponed. It's been moved from January to December.
December 21.
So
December 21.
So will be played in December.
Yeah. Just snap thoughts on that, guys.
See, I've always said you know I've mentioned this, that I've always maintained that we should go for the traditional system. January, then we end in February, because it suits the continent. And we've gone back and forth, flip-flopping. Back in the day, we did June, July. Now, we are going to do, next year, we're going to do December and January. Because we couldn't do June and July 2025
because of the Club World Cup.
The Club World Cup now it's been expanded, and once you expand it, a lot of the clubs would have some of their players involved in the competition. Yeah. So one had to give, and as always, Africa had to take the bow, and so Africa bowed, and we've had to move the tournament from June, July to December again. And there's a benefit in that, aside the clash, because once you move it to December, you are going to be playing it in the winter months in Morocco, and not June, July, the summer months that you experience a lot of intense heat. And so there's a benefit. There's benefit in that. But for me, if you make it, you stay with January and February, and you say, yeah, to hell with everyone, we are still going with this. The Qatar World Cup became an eye opener in the sense that the players talked about the benefits in having a tournament, an international competition in the middle of the season. True. In season, where you know that once the season is over, you don't have to worry about getting in shape or staying in shape for an upcoming tournament. You get it? So you can fully go through and immerse yourself in your vacation, your off season. But once you have a situation where you are done with your club season, then you can, I don't know, whether you are stuck in some kind of limbo, whether you are chilling or you are prepping your mind and your body for the upcoming tournament, knowing very well that you also have to rest and not suffer from burnout while competing in the international tournament ahead of another club season. So for me, that January-February slot is absolutely perfect because it suits the African weather system. Though sometimes like we experienced in Cote d'Ivoire, it was very hot, but it's manageable. It's way better than what you are likely going to have or experience in the North African countries during the June and July period. So for me, we should stick with the January and February slot because it helps the players. It absolutely helps the players.
And this timing,
why we are still
this timing means that, you know, December 21, some leagues in Europe, a good number of leagues would have gone on a break. Yeah. Winter break, they call it. So the players leave the winter break, or the African players will leave the winter break, come and play in the AFCON. By the time they get back, you know, leagues have resumed or are just about resuming, and they can get into
back in the flow. And a lot of people do not know this, but January, February is not the only slots that you have AFCON happening or international competition happening, because the Asia Cup also takes place around that same time. If you move it to June and July, it will be too hot in the likes of Saudi Arabia and Qatar. You can't play football there, so they always play January and February. Do you see people complaining about they having to move or change their slots? Why is it that it's always Africa? I understand that
it's your competition that doesn't have money.
I understand that we have more high-profile players than Asia does, but at some point, we have to be consistent and stick to that January, February.
Yeah, I think it's become really confusing. Coach,
CAF as a body or as a federation, they are not serious and they are not smart. The lack of management of football on the continent is what allows
CAF has become an extension of FIFA now.
There you go. Why is it that Club World Cup, one of FIFA's most useless tournament, is what is being used to compel CAF
to move its
tournament to a date that, in my view, is not proper. Me, I don't like the situation where tournaments are played during the season. I don't like it, especially when the season starts in August, September, October, November, December.
Yeah.
If you go and add tournament football, and then most of the times these players begin to experience some form of injuries, and it actually restricts them from giving off their best. Look, the clubs are the paying masters, so they pay these players. So they should be allowed to enjoy the full benefit of the investment they're giving onto the players. For me, I completely disagree why this tournament is being shifted from January, February to December, January. Again, maybe it has become so necessary.
Christmas time when they play AFCON. How can you tell me this story?
You understand? Oh?
But if Ghana
This has become. This has become so necessary because I don't think the international calendar would allow the continent to play all the qualifying games to enable us play the tournament in January. I'm sure that is one of the reasons for compelling them to move the tournament all the way toward
December
of next year. Because as it stands, we've not even started the AFCON qualifiers.
No.
We've not. And the month of June is already gone. The month of June is already gone. And the AFCON qualifiers is most likely very similar to the same number of teams. We have 24 teams to qualify. So there are a lot of games to be played. And the international calendar will not allow us to do. Maybe on that grounds, I can understand why they need to shift. But are they now telling us that henceforth, that becomes the stable calendar for the tournament?
No, it will change again.
But you see, that's the thing.
That is the problem.
The tournament has been flip-flopping now.
That is where the problem is.
Yeah.
Is it that anytime
it creates a lot? Players don't even know in their minds when the AFCON is coming again.
That's it. And is it that
I think we've done June, July.
We've done June, July
We've
before.
done June, July.
2019.
So the FIFA World Club competition, is it going to be played every year?
Yes.
Now, if it's going to be played every year,
no, I thought the Club World Cup they were going to play it every 4 years
Okay.
with 32 teams.
maybe
They
if it's
expanded
every 4 years, then whenever at the beginning of the next 4 years, then we go back to what December in January or what? Look, it's so confusing. It's unacceptable. I think Africa we need to put our foot down and run our own business.
Motsepe, stop running after Infantino and put your foot down and put your house in order. All Motsepe has been doing is hitching his cart to Infantino's horse. When Infantino says, let's go west, okay, boss, let's go west. When he says east, Charlie.
No,
Oh, man. Come on. We thought he was about to be a game changer. I'm not sure. I thought he was about to be. I'm just saying. We thought. Let's talk about the MTN FA Cup final real quick. It's on Sunday.
Just to highlight that the Club World Cup, yes, every 4 years. The next one, 2025, and then the next one will be 2029. So there are 32 teams from 6 federations. Yes.
Today, Frank Nelson Iwonkolo pulled up to Channel 1 TV studios with the MTN FA Cup trophy.
Today I learned a lot of things about Frank Nelson today.
No, he's a top guy.
Hey,
see,
he's well-traveled.
No, he be top guy.
The man speaks different language.
I'll tell you this, right? I've met a lot of football administrators in this country. I don't know. There's just something different about him.
He knows how to.
I wish I could boycott
Ghana football.
Ghana football.
You see,
I'm telling you, because look,
it's true.
It's embarrassing, it's disgraceful, it's shameful.
It's true.
Look,
we are talking about.
you ask yourself, those of us talking about it here, where is our integrity? So I don't want to talk about it.
We can't. You see, the problem too is that you can't be in this space and not talk about Ghana football at all.
No, for me, okay, I'm going to talk about it.
Can we agree
it's
on that?
It's a disgraceful tournament. It's a disgraceful, shameful thing that they are doing because the games are highly compromised. They should stop that.
That's the league.
They should stop that.
Is it the league or the FA Cup?
They're all Ghana football.
Hold on. I beg you.
Me. Look, will you go and watch
the MTN FA Cup final?
Yes, we'll go and watch. Me, I'm going to watch. Why should I go and watch?
It's fine.
When the referee comes to the stadium with the decision in his pocket,
we don't know this. We don't know this for a fact.
Did you watch the Bechem? Is it Bechem?
Hold on.
What's the league?
Two different games.
We're talking about the FA Cup.
Wow.
No more. Why a problem? Why?
You see, I acknowledge that the problem is there, but I'm also telling you that we cannot exist in the Ghanaian football space and not talk about Ghanaian football. You and I can agree on that.
Me, I can decide not to talk about
Okay, no problem.
Talk to me about the MTN Africa final.
because if you want me to talk about it, then I'll talk about it.
You talked about
Then I'll
it.
talk about it very, very well and talk about it
It's okay.
on the grounds
I
of
beg you.
truth.
I beg you. It's okay. It's okay.
Me na atwa,
It's
me
okay.
na atwa, me na feel.
okay.
You saw my tweet the other day.
Calm down.
Everybody involved in this game is compromised in this country.
Oh.
Me too, Sebi. The clips are there. The video clips are there. Go and watch. Go and watch. You expect people to pay money to come and watch. Then you meet. Oh, meneba woneke has ba woneke has say ya relegation. Olisa ake ya Karela neke bechem. What sort of people are these? What is this?
Let me just take predictions for the MTN Africa final. Nathan.
my favorite commentary from
The Heart of Lions.
Heart of Lions. Beckham Chelsea, the Dutch have scored.
Oh yes! Clockwork Orange. Why did he take the ball?
No, it's a goal. They can't
It's a goal.
disallow it. It's a goal.
Are you
It's
kidding me?
a goal.
Right?
It's a good goal. It's a very
okay.
good goal. No, for me. Oh, okay, offside.
Oh man! Charlie, but the linesman make her ring the bell, pal.
But you know that in this competition, you know that once there's that
check.
automatic thing there, if you are
Charlie,
off,
misbehavior.
No, I'm just saying that the commentary still kills.
I will check.
Referee nipping the penalty.
I say,
Or starting with a corner or per corner. Looks like Waji corner. You bet was no penalty. Waji penalty.
Oh man, guys, prediction.
Afa.
Open the penalty.
I heard the commentator was there and somebody called him and then when he answered the phone,
Corrupt. Referee. Corrupt.
when
Everybody corrupt.
when he answered the phone, the person was talking and saying, "Wait, my main for bagoni, basisia."
You tell me this story. Anyway, let's do predictions for the final and there we go. Just quick predictions.
Swatreman to win by a goal to nil.
Yeah, in Swatchman for the win, because once you win, you qualify to the CAF Confederation
Yep.
Cup, and Bofakwa in this state, I doubt they will be able to represent Ghana very well. Compared to Eswatini. And so for me, Eswatini looked the better side. They played out they played out draws.
For what people say, they no one can play.
They played out draw results
Because they should win the tournament. They should play a win. If they don't have money, then they should pull out.
So,
But on the day there, they should not go there with the idea that because they cannot represent Ghana, they are not going. That is compromise. Compromise right there.
in the league, they played 2 games, home and away, and both games finished in the draw. And so and because of the Bono rivalry, so they will come in with a lot of aggression. They'll come in with a lot of expectation.
Nothing to lose though.
And they've got nothing to lose. So I'm pretty sure it will be a fun game. But in Swatchman overall, they have the quality side, and Masol Kunedu, very experienced in this FA Cup. Yeah, I'm tipping him and his boys to be able to get the win.
Okay, it's a wrap from us here. So proudly brought to us by Winner Big. Let me just announce the winners again. Yes, so we have Olivia A with 500 CDs, Abraham B, Samuel N, James M, and Eunice M. And then we have Abbas B. You won the grand draw, so you won 1,000 Ghana CDs. So Abbas, we can do it here. Why we need to? Why you need na? So big shout outs to Abbas. Let me see if there are any shout outs to go around the table before we go.
Yes, let me give a shout out. Last week, I got a message that somebody wanted a shout out. A new contact I made a few weeks ago. So Michael, no, the person is in Ghana. It's Japan. Even if I give shout outs to the people in Japan, they can't hear.
Oh, they can hear.
Michael.
No, Sports Panorama will be international.
Yeah, of course, yes, yeah.
Who Everest crowd betting.
Anyway, Michael of KK Insurance Brokers. Michael, have a good evening. Last week you texted me that Charlie, give me shout out. So Michael, here are your shouts. And shouts to all our listeners, and shouts in advance to Jeff and Doreen Adia. Tomorrow they are opening their bar officially, the 957 Dakri Bar in Usu. It's just next to.
When they give you free vouchers, make you pass through. We will come to one or two things.
It's the 957 Dakri Bar.
Hey, Charlie.
It's just next to Chicken Grill.
Oh, is
so
it?
they have a great assortment of drinks. So maybe after the show you can.
I don't know.
They are opening at 4 p.m. So if you're not doing anything tomorrow,
next season roadshow will come back.
We'll discuss that. So if you're not doing anything tomorrow, just head on to the 957 Dakri Bar in Usu on Papa Morovia Street. They are opening officially. Go and enjoy a great collection of drinks and food and all of that.
My shout out goes to all my students.
Yes, sir.
My A-level student, Ghana Christian International.
Oh, are they writing?
No, they are done. Actually, tomorrow we are having their graduation.
Yes,
Ghana Christian International High School, and
congrats to all of them.
Yeah, congrats. Look, they've gone through a lot.
I've been hearing some of the things you've been teaching them. Charlie, and easy. And easy.
New rules.
And tomorrow, God willing, we will celebrate them.
No, anybody who understands all the things Christopher has been teaching and is graduating tomorrow.
Organic chemistry. Organic chemistry.
I'll
hope to see them tomorrow.
Gary, Charlie, your baby girls, they wait for you.
Oh, no. This one is just
Charlie, don't. Do you want me to tell the story?
Abigail way there. Girls.
So shout out to Dominic. We took a break from telling your stories on the show, so you people think you are free now. We'll resume.
So shout out to Dominic Gucci, man. I mean,
only him.
Yeah,
only him.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it was coach.
Yeah. Big shouts to Wesley of the City FM, Channel 1 TV, sales team, and Doris Mason. She's celebrating her birthday today.
Happy birthday to Doris.
Yeah, and earlier in the week, there was Lizzie Mason, and there was also Doris Nkrumah. Yeah, she also celebrated more birthdays.
Doris Mason.
Doris Mason
of the sales team.
Yes.
Sales team, and earlier in the week there was
Doris front desk.
Yeah, front desk. Doris Nkrumah.
And congrats to our colleague and Shelley.
Oh yeah. Congrats and Shelley.
And a big shout out to
the sales team too.
And congrats to you in advance. So thank you very much, Nathan Kwar. Thank you, Yara James. Thank you, Coach Christopher Nimili and Gabi Ofer. My name is Benjamin Iketia. Studio hands from Daniel Squashy. So proudly brought to us by Winner Big. Thank you guys out there for tuning in to do the listening. For those of you who join us from outside the country and via YouTube, thank you as well. Same time next week, Sports Panorama will be back.